Many analysts will take a look at the upcoming year as their primary focus for making decisions about the value of a stock. As you know, and obviously, the further out that you try to project what a company is going to do, the less reliable that is. So looking 1 quarter ahead or 2 quarters ahead is going to be more accurate, generally speaking, than if you're trying to look a full year ahead or looking 2 or 3 or 4 years. The longer out, the less accurate it becomes. But today I'm going to focus on 2024. We will be doing 2025 possibly on Monday or Tuesday. 2026, I'll be updating. 2025 will be the first time I've done it. 2026 will be an update because I think that is a critical year. We'll talk about why when I do it. And then I will do a 2027 possibly later this week or possibly, next week or the following week. Anyway, we'll get to 2027 eventually, which will be the first time I've tried that one. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is you're going to hit like because this is Randy Kirk. So just like it if you like me. What's not to like? My mom says I'm likable. So hit like, hit subscribe. Hit notify. This is going to be appearing on Sunday morning. So you want to be sure, of course, to be notified about Sunday evening's broadcast and Monday morning's broadcast. Now, the Sunday evening broadcast is called Monday morning, so not to be confused with the Monday morning broadcast, which is called After the Bell. And on Sunday night, we talk about what's coming up in the new week. And this particular week, it's going to be a pretty big deal because we got we got Jerome Powell speaking on Wednesday afternoon after the Fed decision is announced Wednesday earlier in the day. And that will be the most critical thing that's going to happen next week. And then on Monday morning, we talk about what's happening every single morning at around 7:10 California time. I broadcast my expectations for the day, what's important, what's going on, the news of Tesla overnight, the news of the economy overnight, et cetera. Okay, let's jump into this 2024. Oh, yeah. Just real quick. We'll be talking about this. We'll be talking about this later. Yeah, okay. So let's talk about 2024. Here's how I see it. I see that Fremont in January, because January is usually a softer month. So I'm going to have Fremont a little bit under their capacity in January of 2024. Shanghai, same thing, just a little bit under their capacity at 250. They'll be able to do 1.1 million next year if everything went perfectly. They might even be able to do 1.15, according to our best estimates right now with the upgraded Highland Model 3. This does not include any new factory in Shanghai. A lot of people talking about they need to put another factory in Shanghai. I'm not going to include this in the 2024. We'll think about whether we'll put that in 2025. Then we've got the Austin numbers. Again, this will include now both the Model Y and the Cybertruck. So I'm putting that at 80,000 in January. January in the first quarter, 80,000 in the first quarter, which will that'll include, let's say, roughly 20,000 of the Cybertrucks and 60,000 of the Model Ys. I'm going to assume that by January, they'll be starting to really get the Model Y ramp going. Berlin, 60,000 also of the Model Ys. I would not be surprised to see Model 3s later in the year coming out of Berlin, but maybe not. So I'm not going to include any Model 3s in this analysis. All right, then we get to February. This will be, to the second quarter. When we get to the second quarter, we're going to see the numbers popping up to what would be the normal numbers I would expect at this point. So Fremont is going to, I think, be right around 600,000 capacity, a little more than 600,000. So they should do 150,000 a month. Shanghai, same thing as I mentioned, about 1.1 million, and then Austin, we should see the Cybertruck ramping up there as well as more Model Ys. So I'm going to put that down for 100 in the second quarter, and then Berlin at 70,000 in the second quarter. By the way, forgive me if at the beginning I repeatedly might have said January rather than the first quarter. Okay, then we get to the third quarter, and there I'm going to stay pretty steady. For third quarter and fourth quarter, pretty steady for Fremont and Shanghai. Unless we learn more, I don't have any reason to believe those are going to dramatically increase or even increase by a little bit. So I'm going to stay with those numbers. Whereas in Austin, we should see a continuing ramp of both Cybertruck and the Model Y. And by the end of the year, the Model Y should be running at 500,000 per year, which would be 125,000 per quarter. So you can see then I have about 45,000 at that point for the Cybertruck, which would be a run rate of 45,000 a quarter, would be a run rate of about just under 200,000 for as we go into 2025. Okay, Berlin, only Model Ys. I'm figuring that by the end of the year, they will have a run rate of 500,000. And so I'm building slowly to that run rate of 500,000. That's the number I'm the least certain of. I'm not 100% sure that they're planning to make 500,000 in Berlin, although that has always been the stated plan. So now you've got a total of 2.470, almost 2.5 million for next year, which would be in line with the continuing 50% per year increase. Now let's take it up and put it in terms of the dollars and cents. So I'm saying that the 46,000 average stays the same for the first and second quarter, and then starts to increase in the third quarter up to 47,000 as Cybertruck starts to become a bigger part of the mix and more Model Ys become a bigger part of the mix. Those are both going to sell for more than Model 3s, and so that should increase the total in terms of the average selling cost. Then next line here, we have the margin. I'm going to start out still at 18 on my bear case, going up to 19 in the second quarter, 19, and then finally up to 20% in the fourth quarter. I don't actually believe those numbers. That's my bear case, okay? But it's possible because what is Tesla going to have to do again next year? They're going to have to sell a lot more Model Ys, and that means they're going to have enough demand for those Model Ys. Will they have to cut retail prices? Will they have to cut margins to do that? And or even if they do cut the prices somewhat, will they be able to make up for it in terms of the material costs, labor costs, et cetera, that are going into the car? Very hard to figure out, and that's why doing this kind of analysis is difficult. Okay, so with those, we end up with gross profit. You can see it here of 21.9 billion for the year. Now for the auto, now we got to add in energy profit. Basically, I am assuming that by January, February, we should start to see the Lathrop be fully priced in. In other words, based on 20 billion in sales at 25% margin, about 4 billion per year. So very close to being fully priced in the first quarter, second quarter, even closer, third quarter, fully priced in, and the fourth quarter beginning to see a little bit from Shanghai. So that's how I came up with those numbers as my base case. Other profit should be going up and up. We are now looking at, almost $1 billion by the end of the year in other profit. That could be a very low number. That is my base case. But as you can see, it's starting to be, when you total it all up, it's turning out to be real money, okay? So total profit, you can see the numbers here. I'm giving overhead slightly more than the fourth quarter. I had it at 2.2. I'm figuring that as we get into this year, it will definitely start going up as we get into Cybertrucks, as we get into more factories being built, as we get into more and more money being put into new products that are coming along. Earnings per share, so the gap, we would end up with a total of 17.8 billion. That would be about 5 billion higher than, let's say, a typical Ford or General Motors year. That would be almost 20% on the way to being an Apple. All right, just to give you some analysis to compare it to. And then the EPS at this point on the bear case, we $5.17 a share. If you give that a multiple of 80, which seems to be around where the stock market wants to go, that would give you your $400 valuation on the bear case. Okay, let's go ahead now and look at the bull case. It's not even the bull case. This is actually a base case. I'm not going to give you a bull case. I'm not ready to make the bull case. Let me tell you why. I don't know what's going to happen with new factories. I don't know what's going to happen with Gen 3. I don't know what's going to happen with full self-driving. I don't know what's going to happen with Optimus the robot. Those are four really, really big items that are going to could potentially dramatically affect 2024 numbers. So I'm not ready to do my bull case yet. I want to get another few weeks or maybe a couple of months in with more information coming from Tesla about India, about Mexico, about additional product being made in Austin, about additional factories being added in Shanghai. I mean, there's so many things that we just don't know. So let's go based on kind of what we do know. And so what you're seeing here is roughly the same in the first quarter, second quarter, a little more, and a little more. So all the way along, except for the Berlin, we get to the full 500,000 annualized rate in the second quarter, and we stay there. We don't go any higher. We know we've heard talk that they want to go to 1 million units out of Berlin. I don't know if that's going to be Model Ys or, again, Model 3 might pop in there. Don't know when those factories are expected to be finished over there, the new factories. Don't know when the Gen 3s are going to start. So many things we just don't know. Anyway, this would give us a 2.8 million units for the year, which is probably a little closer to what I think is reality. And maybe some of that'll be Model 3s out of Berlin or Model 3s out of Austin or all the things we just mentioned. So that's my total. Let's go up and take a look how we plug that in for dollars. All those units are now plugged in across here. I am now going to put margins here much closer to what I actually expect them to be. So I expect first quarter to be 21%. That's around where I ended the fourth quarter. I think that's a very, very fair estimate. Second quarter, 22%. Third quarter, 23%, as they again ramp up Cybertruck, continue to ramp up Model Ys, get the efficiencies up, get the cost per unit down. I think these are numbers that I can live with, giving us a 23% margin over the year. Total then, we've got a $30.9 billion amount coming from cars. The energy profit, again, I'm just doing a little higher than what I did down below, turning with $6 billion for the year. That would give you a fully ramped Lathrop with a 50% of the potential out of Shanghai. I'm guessing that the factory in Shanghai will be fully ramped by the end of the year, but we don't know how the bookkeeping is going to work. So as opposed to a little higher than this, maybe I'm going to stick with $6 billion. We also don't know if there's other factories being built. I mean, literally, there could be other energy storage factories being built right now that we haven't even been told about, because they can be built in a building the size of a Walmart. And if you're putting it in a building that size, you don't necessarily have to announce it. They could be doing one in India right now, Indonesia. There are so many places that they could already be. Another one in the United States on the West Coast. The East Coast, or possibly one in Canada. So lots of possibilities there. Europe, very, very high likelihood of one in Berlin. When will those start cranking out? Don't know. So in other words, hard to tell. Other profit, just a little higher, I think, than I had it on the bear case. Then I put a little bit in for the semi. So I don't have anything in here for the semi, but by the end of the year, I'm figuring 100 million in profit from the semi by the fourth quarter, and that would be for the total year. A lot more in 2025, as you'll see later when I do my 2025 numbers. All right, total profit from all resources, almost 40 billion. Now we go into that 40 billion, by the way. Now we're talking about, let's take away the overhead. You've got total GAAP income of 28.9. Now that is almost 30% of an Apple, okay, and double the car companies, the General Motors and Ford. EPS coming in at 838. Now, if you do 80 on that, now you're talking about $640 value on the stock. That is my number for, well, not quite. I'm at 700 for the end of the year next year. So you can understand why I'm thinking 700 is a dead cinch by the end of next year. We'll see what happens, but that's what I think. All right, so that is my numbers for 2024. Tell me where you think I'm crazy. Now, this is not even the bull case. This is the base case. The bull case would actually require more factory capacity somewhere, or a lot more money coming out of other, like services and whatnot. That could be true. Or surprises with regard to mega factories being built around the world. So hit like and subscribe if you liked, and subscribe if you'd like to make sure that you always get an easy way to find us. That also helps the algorithm. So it's just a great help to the channel. Then if you would like to join Patreon, you can join Patreon now and get a very nice bonus. You have to join at the $10 level, but you get one of these, or you get one of, I can never open these things. There we go. You get one of these, okay, in the camo, come in this beautiful gift box. You get a free one if you join at the $10 level. So you go down below in the description below, hit the little button down there, and it takes you to Patreon. And button, it's not a button, it's a URL. You hit the URL, takes you to Patreon, takes you to my Patreon, and then you just sign up at the $10 level, and kaboom, I'll send you one of those for free. I need you to let me know, camo or stainless, camo or stainless. Always let me know. And then if you would like to just buy one, you're not ready to join up with Patreon, which I don't understand. Don't you want to be a producer of this channel? You can tell from your friends, I'm a producer on a YouTube channel. Anyway, but if you would like to get one of these or one of the camo ones, and always tell me which one, if you'd like one of these, by the time you're seeing this, it should be up on Amazon at $29.95. You're still able to buy it for $25. So if you would like to get one of these for $25, you just go down below again to the description, and it'll tell you how to send off to paypal.me/Randy Kirk, all lower caps. You go over there to my PayPal account, put in $25, tell me whether it's stainless or camo, and then I'll ship you one like 2 days later, maybe 3, and you'll get one of those. And if you want more than one, just multiply however many times $25. If you're not in the United States, you need to add an extra $20 because I got to use, international freight to get it to you. If you buy 10 of them, and you want it internationally, it's still $20 for the freight, okay? I don't care how many you buy. After you buy one, it's $20. 2, it's still $20, okay? Not each, just for, anyway. So, and then what else was I gonna tell you? Oh yeah, you know that you want one of these for yourself, but you also have friends who are waiting for their Cybertruck, or maybe they just think they'd like to get one, but they haven't ordered it yet. They're waiting to see what it costs. Or you have friends that'll never buy one, but they just think it's cool, and it would be a statement to them that they're part of the Tesla fan club. Maybe they own a Tesla now, or want to own a Tesla, or they just really like Tesla. They own a lot of stock. A lot of you guys don't own the car. My car is still what do I own? I own a Volvo. My wife drives the Tesla Model Y, but maybe you don't even have a Model Y in your household, but you got stock. Or maybe neither one. You're just watching the whole thing because it's so amusing and so much fun. Those are the kind of folks, if they should be on your gift list. Buy them now. Come on, everybody that's watching this channel, 95% of you are men. You've never bought anything for Christmas in September before. This could be a first time. You could start filling out your gift list in September and have it on the shelf ready to go already at this time of year. Wouldn't that be crazy? Nobody will believe it. All right. So that's it. I'm done. It's been great talking to you. If you don't mind, I do want to pitch my little device here. I have these little devices for $25. You can't believe how cool this is. Look at how thick the stainless. I mean, holy mackerel! It comes in. It comes in a camo as well. It's a can opener. I mean, I'm sorry, not a can opener, a bottle opener. So you got your bottle opener here too, and it's got a magnet on the back so you can slap it up on your fridge. I mean, is this good or what? So anyway, you just send $25 to my PayPal account. It's down in the information below. Just click on there. You can send it 20. Now, if you're out of the country, I got to charge you an extra $20 for freight. So, or if you join my Patreon, I'll give you one at the $10 level. I'll give you one for free.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.